So good morning, everybody in Australia, and good evening, everyone in the States and elsewhere. Today we're going to be talking about the presentation and also attracting influencers as well. So a couple of key topics there we want to talk to you guys about. But we'd love you all to start out by opening up the chat box and putting in there the areas of the presentation or teaching, doTERRA to someone, whether it's in a class or a one-on-one format, that you find the most challenging. What are the areas that you feel like, gee, I wish I could get some help on that. I need to know more about what to do when I open the class, or what do I do when I get to the end and everyone's been nodding the whole way and smelling the oils and loving the product, and then I just don't seem to get it right at the end. Maybe I'm not doing something there, or maybe it's closing. My class goes on way too long and I don't know what it is that I'm doing that's making it go for an hour and a half or 2 hours or whatever the thing is. What is it for you guys that's the challenging point about it? So put all those things in there, and we've got a few ones on there already.
Close, LRP without confusion. Sometimes my class goes long. Okay, I'm going to start writing these down. LRP, too long. How do you get people to sign up to LRP at the class? How do you introduce LRP without confusing everyone? That's a regular one.
Getting people to the class is sort of back in the inviting piece. So
finding builders and also getting peeps to commit to buy. I'm worried I'm making it sound complicated with too much information.
You write those down and I'll dive in. So one of the things that is critical to getting success, to answer that question of getting people to the class and also getting people to enroll at the class, is nothing to do with the class. It's actually got to do with the step before that, which we talked about last week, and it's the inviting step. It's so critical for us to invite with a level of integrity and intention, because have you ever, and you can maybe just wave your hand or something like that if you've had this experience, but who's had the experience where they've taught a class or they've been invited to teach a class for a host, and you got there and it kind of felt more like a casual friend get together, and you're just this person who's popped in for a few minutes to share a little bit about something that I don't know really what it is, but my friend's coming over. That happens, right? So there's all these hands going up. So that's got everything to do with the invite process and nothing. If you couldn't convert people at that class to enrollment or to LRP, I'm not surprised, because people with the very best skills would struggle to do that, because the people, their primary reason for being there was not to learn about essential oils or doTERRA products and how they might, change their health with them. They were there because it was a catch up amongst the girls, and they had, whatever they were having, a champagne night and a catch up or something. And that's also another key thing, try and keep that part of, the evening's festivities until after your class, because that can derail things really, really quickly. So what I mean by inviting with intention and integrity is getting people to turn up knowing that they're there to learn about natural solutions to their health, about how they could, have a more sort of toxic-free or chemical-free life by using essential oils, how they could improve their gut health, or whatever it is that you're theming the class around, and invite people who or that the host knows, who have challenge with that particular issue, so that you're inviting the person and that challenge along to the class. So you say, hey, I was thinking of you because we're having this class on gut health, or we're having this class on energy, we're having this class on, essential oils and sleep, or whatever it might be. Even if it's an intro class, we find it's often really helpful to theme your intro class around a particular subject matter. So rather than just having the same old, you're invited to introduction to essential oils class or a natural solutions class or whatever it might be, which is the same thing that everyone out there is putting out there. How do you make yours different? So you invite to a specific sort of subject matter, and then make sure that you deal with that a little bit more heavily in the class, even if you're teaching the basic natural solutions class or a what we call sort of a home essentials kit type sort of class, intro class. You cover the sleep part a bit more, but you also cover what the other oils do. So when you're doing it like that and you invite like that, the people are actually predisposed to enroll. Think about it for a second. You've invited people who have a specific healthcare concern or a bunch of concerns over to learn more about how to take care of that. using a natural solution, whether it's an oil or oil supplements or whatever it might be. If they turned up to that invite, they're basically saying, I want a solution to this, and I'm really interested if this could be part of my answer. So they're predisposed to enroll. So getting the invite piece right is absolutely critical. And I personally would rather have a class with 4 or 5 people to talk to who knew why they were coming and wanted to learn more about essential oils and how we can help with their health, than have a class of 15 or 20 people and wonder which 4 or 5 are the ones that I'm going to be able to enroll that day, because the other 15 kind of haven't been invited really knowing what they're showing up for.
So true.
And sometimes people, it's kind of grubby as well. I mean, you've probably all been invited to one of these things at some other time or another, where you turned up and it was sort of this, you didn't really know what it's going to be, but then at the end there's the sort of the wind up and the pitch as far as the sales side of it goes, and it feels a bit unclean, like you didn't really know why you were there. Who's felt that before? Yeah. And I don't know about you guys, but I don't like that. I don't like to feel that way. So for me, I don't want to be in an environment where it feels like, something's being done to me, rather than I've been, asked to come to something and I've chosen willingly because I know what it is, right? So that's why it's important that, you're much better off talking with 5 people who know why they're there than 20 people who aren't sure. And then they're sort of waiting for the catch. They're waiting for, what's going to happen at the end. So the inviting process is really critical. What have you got there, Taylor?
Okay, so I wanted to just speak to something before we launch into what you guys call the close, which Paul and I call the natural conclusion. One is this, when you create a powerful and clear need in the class, so Paul's talking about inviting to the need, to the pain point. When you do that throughout the whole class, you get their buy-in. So it's like there are times where you just need to stop talking after you've asked a question and wait for their response. Like you've just maybe talked on 3 or 4 essential oils, and just say, who really feels that they could so do with something like this in their lives? Who would love more energy in their lives and the clarity that peppermint, lavender, and the wild orange I just talked about, and easy air will bring, right? Something like that. So you're getting their buy-in constantly. They're constantly moving their bodies, they're activating, their mind is activating, they're leaning in with you as you take them on a journey with the essential oils. That's really important, you guys, right? And what we really love to do is ask questions throughout. What else is there? What else is there that you would love to call forth into your life? And in the Class in a Box, and for Australians, Empower Kit, and New Zealand people, we have Empower Kit. So basically what you're doing is you are having them identify their top 3 health concerns or challenges, right? So in that point, have them share one, depending on the size of the class. If it's a small class of, like 5 to 8 people, pretty much everyone can share. Just ask them to keep it brief. And then you can look at essential oils to meet that need, right? Or the products to meet those needs, and you take them on a journey. So even if that means, you structure your class so that you just cover maybe 4 or 5, and then you open it up to the top 3 health concerns, where you cover more of the essential oils in the Home Essentials Kit, which is also in the Natural Solution Kit, then that will expand you more. And this is where your oils like Balance or Claricum or Past Tense may come into play, right?
I think just on that, guys, it's really critical for me when I'm talking to an audience. It doesn't matter whether I'm doing a business training for, hundreds or even thousands of people. One of my favorite things to do before I really get going is, or very early into my presentation, is to get a sense of who I'm talking to, as in what's going on for them, what's common to them, because we can master a class, but if we've mastered a class that isn't hitting the mark, we're not going to enroll those people. Like, we're only going to enroll the ones that the general class sort of hits the mark for. So if I'm doing a training and there's 300 people there, I always say, hey, so who in this room is executive, who's elite, who's premier, who's silver, and get my idea of where they're at, so I know where I should be sort of targeting my main message, because you don't want it to go over the head of someone or just way out to the side where it's not even relevant for them, right?
Yeah, and then you use the right languaging for them that they can.
Correct. So, getting to that point in your kit or in your class where you can get a bit of, feedback, or even if you open your class and say, So, out of interest, guys, what are the top sort of healthcare concerns for you? Or what are the things that are, of need in your family? That kind of thing fairly quickly into your class is so critical, because then you've got an idea of who to talk to, and you make it more relevant and more personal for them. So as an example, if I opened the class and, I talked a little bit about the power and the potency of essential oils, and then why doTERRA, and, those kind of basic things. And then I got to ask a little bit about, the top sort of concerns or the top issues for people. And, Stephanie or Zoe said to me, oh, look, for me, it's sleep, it's me and my babies and this kind of stuff. Then I know that, fairly quickly in, and let's say that's a common thing amongst the group, fairly quickly in, I want to bring out the sleep oils in the kit rather than just the, continuing on with the ones in the order that I've always done them, because that's how I've always done them. Right? Like, I quickly want to get to that. And I say, and a great addition to this is one of my son's favorite oils is, what Serenity or Lavender Peace, depending on which country you're in and what you call it. And talk about that, because that all of a sudden piques their interest. It makes it relevant. It deals directly with an issue that's of concern and challenge for them, rather than just saying lavender is great for calming and soothing, and this is good for that. And, and so people have to kind of decipher for themselves whether they would use that, or which one's for which, and which one do I put with that for this. But then if I can, as the presentation's moving on, come back to that earlier thing and say, so before, Zoe, I remember it was you who said to me that sleep was an issue for you and your baby. Here's another thing that might be of real interest for you. So you can see Zoe's face now. If everyone's seeing Zoe, she is actually, she's perked up, paying more attention and smiling because I singled her out, right? So that's what happens in your class when you do that, because I've got a connection with them. I know, what her issue is. I'm talking directly to Zoe right now, and she knows it, and she's feeling that, that desire from me to make a difference for her, to help something for her, to make a difference with what that challenge. I'm giving her that level of empathy, so that she feels like, wow, I'm hearing this, I'm feeling it, I'm getting it, I'm connected with this. This is making sense for me. So when we get towards the end of the class, we don't have to then, close them or just crunch down on this sort of sale using some, particularly good sentences and verbiage, so that, people just feel like they got nowhere to go but to fill out a piece of paperwork and get enrolled, right? Mm-hmm. It's almost like, we call it the natural conclusion, because we are leading people through a series of need-building interactions throughout our class that lead them to a point where they want to enroll. They're asking the question, okay, so what next? So how do we get hold of these? That kind of thing. That's where you want your class to go. And it's through that kind of connection that I just had with Zoe. And you've got to find a way to have that with as many people as you can in the room as the class unfolds. Yeah. Okay. It's more important that you do that well than, master, all the gazillion needs of each essential oil, because, every essential oil does so many things. You can rattle on about that for hours and hours. But I've found that when we talk about an essential oil and all its depth and detail and glory, if that doesn't strike a chord or a need in the person, it's irrelevant how much you know about the oil.
Exactly. So you want to keep it really concise. So just pick the top 2 or 3 magical gifts of that essential oil. So if it's peppermint, for clarity, focus, and awakening, who'd love more energy in their day? I don't even mention often digestive stuff with peppermint until I get to digest zen. Because peppermint, I'm focusing here, and it's right in the beginning. It's the first oil I generally open with. And then I'm going into like lemon and lavender, and then I talk about the 3 of those. You know how we talk about them as a seasonal blend? So I talk about them singularly, and then I'm showing them how they can combine them in a special way. Then, for instance, if I go into easy air, right, whatever it might be, and I show a blend that's already done for their respiratory support. Now, as we're doing this, we're creating a story. Someone wrote something, please, Lisa Matthews, honey, you wrote there's no connection to the message and oils. I'm not sure what you mean, so if you want to type something to clarify, but this is what I took from it. So there's a powerful message you deliver about doTERRA and the essential oils, and the way you do it is you weave a story into being in your own way. So like Paul said, don't worry about filling every single their heads with every single bit of data and knowledge on the essential oils. Keep it simple. Part of what I find with novices is they feel like they have to share as much as they can on all the oils and stick to the home essentials kit oils and blah blah blah. But if you stop and listen to what it is they need and what they're choosing to call into their life, so they recognize their pain point. And what we always do to keep this compliant, you guys, is say, rather than talk about that contraction point, the density in your life, let's now, and I'll often say to them, just close your eyes and just imagine what you'd love to call forth into being in your life that will change your lives right now. What is it that you want more of in your life? And you guys, that's so compliant, because they're calling for more joy, more peace, deeper sleep and rest, and, you know, more patience with the kids maybe, you know, more support around their moon time. It's all very compliant that way, okay? So that's what Paul and I always focus on in our classes. Was there
just while you're looking, there's a question here about clarity around Zoom classes and how do you do an online class with people who don't live near me. This is a great question. I love this because it's something that does come up a lot. And what is awesome here, that we found works anyways, is if you just send like the little keychain with the vials in there and just little samples of oil out to that person. So if that person's not already enrolled and doesn't have all their own oils, then you send the keychain out with the samples, and that's basically the samples that get passed around during the class, which you would teach in this format. So you invite, you know, you get that person to have the class in their living room, and have 6 people around in their living room, and you're on screen teaching the class, and the host is the one passing the samples around as you direct traffic, right? So it's kind of no different to teaching a class in your house. So do it exactly the same way. Just make sure that you send, obviously, either enrollment forms, or you coach the host on how to actually fill the enrollment forms out online if that's how you like to do it. But that's what I would do there. If the host actually has oils and all those kinds of things of their own, then it's even easier to pass around the nice bottles and that kind of stuff.
FCO, all that kind of stuff. And what I suggested, one of our gals, when she first started doing this, especially for Kiwis, because she can't just keep flying in New Zealand, was we would just say to them, how about you make some On Guard apples? Let me tell you about these apples, right? And get them excited. And it's really easy and it's cost effective, because it's like 1 or 2 apples in a bowl of water with 1 or 2 drops of On Guard, right? And they slice it in. So not only are they learning something they can do, another thing with On Guard, and I always throw in, you could do that with peppermint and wild orange to really fry your brain, you know, have an apple that tastes like an orange and there's a giggle. But what I'm doing is I'm helping them to remember. I'm creating some fun with it. So we really love doing that as well. And just having like a carafe of water with some lemon in it, where they're tasting the lemon as they go as well. And then when they're On Guard and the lemon is spoken about, you know, the attention gets drawn to that food point.
So a couple of things that have popped up for me while listening.
Can I just deal with this? Sorry. Lisa, thank you so much for clarifying with me. She says, so I had a class where they were there to connect to each other, not listen to me. Thank you for that clarity. So I am really super clear with my boundaries. And when I'm there to speak, you need to listen. And I'm very clear with them. When I notice that they're starting to talk, I just say, hey, you guys, it's really important while I'm speaking that you all keep silent, remain silent, and not speak while I or anyone else is speaking, just so that we honor the space that way. Because I really value this gift right here, and I teach a lot of classes daily and weekly, and I just want to protect that. So if I can ask you all when someone is speaking not to speak, but by all means, it's an interactive class, so just kind of give me a wave when you'd like to contribute, and I'd love to have you share. So I'm really clear. And then during the class, so they forget, like wild orange is a classic, you guys. Have you noticed how many giggles there are and laughter, and people burst into conversation when wild orange goes around? Have you noticed that? So I just stay silent. I just let them enjoy it. I'm like, there you go. Those joy bubbles are touching you all. Look at that. Feel the response in this room. Look how elevated you all are. So I bring their awareness to the energy that's just risen just from snorting lines of wild orange. Right? So they know when they go home, they have this wild orange. I actually say to them, it doesn't come in the kit, right? We're focusing on the Home Essentials kit. And we actually gift you a wild orange when you go home with your wholesale account at the end of today, right? So you all get to go home with it once you've opened your wholesale account with us tonight, and experience that until your oils come home. So we're peppering the presentation with when you have your wholesale account, when you have your essential oils. And one last thing I'll say before I hand over to Paul again is when you feel like the energy is lifting, I just say to them, how about we just close our eyes and take a deep breath in a moment. And I'm going to pass around 3 essential oils under your nose. And I'd love you to just notice how you feel and where you feel these essential oils journey in your body. And I'll pass around lavender, frankincense, and wild orange. And it just brings them back into themselves and feeling the energy of the day or the night and noticing their response with these essential oils. And it's beautiful, calming blend, but it's also uplifting and it brings their focus in. So there's little things like that you can pepper throughout your experience as well. Yeah, the journey. Really take them on a journey, guys. It's so fun. Take them on a journey. Let them experience more rather than you trying to fill their heads and, you know, talk too much, I think.
100%. Just reading through some of the comments and questions that you guys have put up for us here. The challenges that a lot of people are experiencing have a lot to do with coaching the host and actually taking responsibility for what the environment's going to be like before you get there. You can change the outcome and make the enrollment process so much easier and more effortless and more abundant by really taking control of the class environment or the home environment that you're going to be in with the host if someone else is hosting the class. Because, you know, when sort of I think there's a comment there by Ashni, some don't even know why they're there. That's when we've got to be actually talking with our host leading up to the event. Okay, so did you send the invite out like I sent it to you? Did you share the same invite? Okay, do they know why they're coming? You know, who's coming? Okay, tell me about her. Tell me more about Zoe. Tell me more about Stephanie. What's Beck all about? Where's Rachel at in life? You know, what's Haley, you know, experiencing right now? Yeah, and sort of get your head around who you're going to talk to. Because if she goes like, oh, look, I don't even really know them very well. They're just a few people, a few mums from school. I've just said, look, I'm having a thing and, you know, they're happy to come over. Or there's a few new mums at the school. I just invited them. Okay, that's alarm bells for me. I want them to, so I think maybe I've got to send out something else to actually kind of get the vibe right so that when they turn up, they know why they're coming. And if they don't come as a result of that, that's okay by me. It doesn't bother me if someone chooses not to come because they feel it's not their thing. That's okay. You know, we want an active and interested audience, not a big audience necessarily. If we can get a big, active, interested audience, awesome. But if we can only get an audience that's the right size that really want to be there, that's much better. And that solves a lot of these problems of people, you know, not showing up, you know, not paying attention while you're there, being distracted, all those kinds of things. For those, if you are experiencing that and you do get to one occasionally where you're sort of in front of a class and you kind of feel like, wow, these people have really no idea what I'm here for, or the person who invited them has not told them really anything about essential oils or this class or anything, then you need to deal with that first up. You know, I think you got to get into that right away and actually say, hey, so who knows what I'm here to talk about with you today? You know, and ask the question and start getting interaction and feedback right away. Otherwise, a very cold class, a very cold environment, if people feel like they're kind of forced to sit there and listen to you when they didn't even know why they were going to be there in the first place. So you have that first few minutes and that opportunity to generate that interest and say, okay, this is why I'm here and this is why Vanessa invited me over here today to talk to you guys, because this is something that I'm super passionate about it, and so is Vanessa. Yeah. Because Vanessa, you had that experience with, you know, Ariel and the blah, blah, blah. Tell me about that. Yeah. And then, you know, because the story is what people care about. People care way more about that. So you've got to master that part of it. Vanessa pointed out before, you know, as novices kind of thing, we want to go and dive in and talk so much about the essential oil and what we've learned, because we've literally just mastered the class outline. We've just mastered those first oils, and we've got this script in our mind that I've got to make sure I say all these things about lavender and where it's from and talk about sourcing, and then I've got to get onto this oil and I've got to do them in this order, and if I don't, I feel like I've lost my place and all that kind of stuff. And when all that's going on, people are not paying attention to you really because they don't feel a connection. You know, once you've sort of mastered that basic bit of information about each oil that you're going to share in a class and it's going to come out naturally, it comes out way better if you find a way to connect with the audience and find out what their needs are and how you can serve them. There are many times where I have deviated away in teaching a class from the oils, doing them in a certain order. Yes. Because of feedback that I've had, and I'll just skip straight to, you know, immune support stuff.
Exactly. It will go straight to On Guard as his second oil because he hears someone say that. Or what I really love, I watch Paul do this a fair bit, is he'll engage with our crowd, our audience, before the class begins, right? I'm getting centered and ready to receive, and he's engaging and asking questions, right? And I know, and I can feel him kind of go, oh, and such, and he'll add it in, or he'll get up, you know, we sometimes have a banter together up there, you know, and share, and he'll get up and share. And what I notice is, and this is invaluable for you guys to start as you mean to go, is the more you listen, the more you receive, the greater service you'll bring to this. So I love to ask questions during it, as does Paul. And I also notice he will ask questions in the beginning as well, in connection. So we're both constantly connecting and, you know, moving around and, you know, doing what's needed. We love to connect with our hostess. I hope you all picked that up, right? A host or hostess, asking them both about the crowd and feeling into that. And if you can have a call beforehand, that's really great.
It's sort of a unique part of this, or critical part of the strategy of getting success in a class is, you know, kind of knowing the host and her story, but also finding out at least a couple of people before the class starts, getting a bit of a connection with them. So I usually try and get there a good half hour early. So as the first guest arrives, while we're waiting for the next ones, I can meet them, know their name, know what their interest in essential oils are, or what their health concerns are, and actually I'm already sort of crafting in my mind which oil I'm going to be starting with when I open the class.
And the other thing that does is it gives the name. And so while Paul's presenting or I'm presenting, we're actually saying, Angie, earlier you were sharing with me such and such. Do you want to share a little bit more about what you'd love to bring into your life? You know, knowing that challenge, what is it you'd love to bring in? And let's see if we can find an oil or product that can really support that journey. Would you like that? Right? So then she's like nodding and she's there, and it's such a beautiful way to engage. So less is more. Let's try not to be so attached to the outcome of trying to get all 10 essential oils and wild orange and your favorites like Claricum and balance into it. Let's just take a deep breath and maybe cover 5 or 6 of the home essential oil kits, oils, plus a couple of those extras. And I love doing that because at the end, when I'm guiding them to the kits, the Home Essentials Kit, Natural Solution Kit, then I'm saying, these are actually the kits that we covered today. The oils in the Home Essentials Kit, which are in Nature Solution Kit, and also a couple of these extras that we covered, whatever they may be. So that's a beautiful segue in as well. What I was going to say was, when you keep it compliant and you focus on the outcome that they want to call in, that does keep it compliant. Focus on emotional well-being, that's very compliant, no medical terms at all. We had a couple of questions on compliance, that's why I'm covering this. We're not doctors, so we just say, even if you know what that condition is, I always say to people, tell me a bit more about that. How does that show up for you? How does that present in your daily life, right? And what is it that you'd love more of in your life? So if they're telling you about a backache or this or that, and, you know, it's like, what would that look like for you? What to be free from that? And let's look at some support around that. Because at the moment, we can't even use the word pain, but you can use contraction, density, you know, that stuff that stops us from moving forward in life. Let's look at some oils to free us up from that, right? Now, I'm doing a few things there. I'm further cementing the need, which helps to overcome objections at the end as well, you guys, right? An objection usually comes up when we haven't sufficiently created a need for that person or that group. So you want to be working with that throughout. And the best way to do that is to engage them. It really is, because we're meeting their needs through the whole class, right? And it's showing them, well, you know, Paul, I'd really love to just wake up feeling more energized. Is there anything that can help with that? Because seriously, yeah. I just feel like I just could sleep another 10 hours. So he's now engaging on me that I may need something to take me into a deeper sleep and also connect me with something that's energizing throughout the day. So peppermint comes in, and his little trick that he does with peppermint, and he'll give them a physical experience during the class with that, right? Or we'll put something in water, or, you know, something immediate.
So when we open the question here, we'll get to one that's, you know, was top of priority for, or the two top priority ones, I think, for people were what you guys call the close, or we call the natural conclusion, and also LRP.
Yeah.
one of the things that Vanessa just highlighted, it, we deal with the close or the objection, the potential objection at the end, more with how we start at the beginning. And in a sales environment or an environment where there's a purchase option for them at the end, people are often throughout the presentation kind of waiting for the big, what's the big deal here? What's the deal? What's the secret at the end? What's the catch? All that kind of stuff. And one of the things that we've found super successful is to get that out of the way really early in the conversation and actually talk to people about it. So when I first went and watched Vanessa, well, actually, maybe you just demonstrated how you open your class, because there's something that she says, and I want you guys to listen for the keywords that she says here that are the most powerful part of what she's about to do in the opening of her class, which makes it easier for her to close her class at the end. And I want you to type it into this chat here. So listen for what it is that she says as she opens a class, type it in the chat box. The one thing that's going to make it most powerful for her to do a much easier job at the end of getting people committed to actually enrolling.
Yeah, so to not confuse you guys, in America and the UK, this is our Empower Kit. So it just has, all the information. So class in a box is what you guys have in Europe, UK and America. Okay, hey you guys, I am so excited to be with you here tonight. I'd love to just begin by drawing your attention to what's on your lap. So if you just open up to the first page here, feel free to scribble and write all over this. This is yours to go home with. It's going to remind you of the different essential oils and products that we covered tonight. So feel free to take notes. The next page I absolutely love. So this has all of the essential oils that are available to us here and the products. Now, if I can just draw your attention, everything's in alphabetical order, starting with single oils and then the blends. Now, what I'd like you to do is just look at the bolded outline here, because they're the wholesale prices, and you all end up with your own wholesale account at the end of this. So they're the prices you want to be looking at. And there's a blank box just either side of all of the products and essential oils, and you can put a star, a heart, or a tick, or a smiley face next to your favorites. So at the end of this, when we set you up with your wholesale account, we can make sure it's the essential oils and blends and products you loved. And then, this doesn't have it, but let's pretend I have a kit page here. And then this page here has the kits that are available. I love the kits that doTERRA have available, and as you can see, we have many. What I'm drawing special attention to tonight and what I'll focus on is the Home Essentials Kit and the Natural Solution Kit here, okay? So then if you flip over, this is just your application form that you are going to fill out when you open your wholesale account. So let's go back to the beginning here. And then I immediately walk over and I'm unscrewing peppermint and I'm taking a deep breath. And then I take them on a journey. So I'll just stop there. Okay, let's have a read. You all end up with your own wholesale account.
You all got it right. So it's so critical to say that, because it's clear then what the intent for the class is, what the outcome is meant to be, right? And there's a bunch of other things that she does.
When you open your account, not if. Absolutely.
Bold prices, you will go home with, all those sorts of things. But she does say wholesale account at least 3 times. And that is really critical to it at the start. And then when we get to the end, we'll deal with the natural conclusion now after, imagine these oils have been shared, there's been plenty of engagement, people have had an opportunity to have the questions that they sort of have, answered. And most importantly, during the class, we've teased out the health concerns that exist for these guys and dealt with them directly, so that they feel like people are getting a connection with something it's for them, it's for that person, that they feel like, oh, I can use this. This is an answer for me, right? So that's what's happened during the class. And then we get to the natural conclusion, right?
Oh,
so then we're back to here again.
So I always end every presentation I do with aromatic dressing. And if you don't know what that is, our VA Tracy will post the video to this for you at the end of this chat. But basically, I am sharing a self-love ritual where they are anointing themselves, dressing themselves every day with the essential oils and FCO. So FCO, I've talked about the fractionated coconut oil throughout the presentation as to how to get it on topically. And then I show them a safe, yummy way to create a ritual for that morning and night. So boom, that's leading into LRP as well. Okay, you guys, who's feeling excited and would love to embrace aromatic dressing in their everyday life? fabulous. For those of you that embrace this, I can tell you life is going to change. Now, as you pass that around, I want you to just notice how you feel as you put that on your skin, and notice how different it is. It's going to smell differently now that it's in the FCO, and it smells differently on the skin. So if you want, have a little sniff of each other too. That usually sets off some giggles, and you know, they have a lot of fun. Okay, so this is my favorite part of the class and the night, right? This is where I get to have my fun with empowering you all to have your own your own wholesale account, and you get to have these essential oils in your home as your own go-to. So let's go back to our forms here. Now, there are 2 ways to open your wholesale account, and doTERRA make this super duper alley-ooper easy. The first way is $35, and then you choose your essential oils and products, you pay your shipping, and bada bing, bada boom, you're done. It ships straight to your door, and you have your essential oils coming to you and your own wholesale account, so you can jump online and order as and when you want, and it ships straight to you. The second way, which I love, is choosing a kit. And for someone like me, I look at everything and go, I want it all, and it all looks beautiful. So I love the kit idea. So I'm going to draw your attention to the Home Essentials kit and the Nature Solution kit. And, oh, were you going to say something? Oh, sorry, I lost it. I thought Paul was going to say something then. You're to the Home Essentials kit and the Nature Solution kit. You don't pay your $35 on top of this. Now, if you just look up here, and I'm showing them the kits, these 2 kits are the same. The Essential Collection kit, which is the Family Physician kit, and the Home Essentials kit. The difference is this: the Family Physician kit has the 5 ml bottle, which I hold up for them, and the Home Essentials 5 ml bottles, and the Home Essentials kit has 15 ml bottles. So for basically $150 more, you receive 3 times the volume of oils, and you get a full 15 ml bottle of Frankie Boy. And you all know we need frankincense in our lives. Now for the Home Essentials kit, all you need to do is add a fractionated coconut oil to it, but you can see you get the diffuser with this one, right? So the value is amazing. And I really love the Natural Solution Kit. This is for those that are ready to go and reduce the toxic load immediately and really get these essential oils and products into their life and live greener, cleaner way of living. So yeah, so that's that part there. I'm really clear with that. So now I say, pick up your pens, and I want you to just open up your page for your paperwork and begin filling out your details with the details you know. Okay, and we can come around and help you choose the essential oils and kits you love. For instance, if it's the Home Essentials kit that you wanted, you just tick Home Essentials kit, and in other put FCO. It's not a swear word, that's fractionated coconut oil. Or for those of you wanting the Nature Solution kit, just tick Nature Solution kit, and anything extra that you wanted you can put here. Or what I really love is doTERRA has this awesome monthly ordering program, and you can order the extra essential oils or products you wanted next month, and each month you can just keep topping your oils up that way. It's so fun. It's super empowering because you also collect this little nest egg of credit each month you order that you can dip into any time for more free product. They give you a shipping in credit, so you get your free shipping when you're on this program, and you're generating points. And we'll go deeper into that when we come sit by you as we're helping you fill out your application form. So pick up your pen, start filling out your paperwork, tick which kit or essential oils you love, and make sure you place your credit card details with your verification code and expiry date. And please remember your date of birth. These are easy things for people to forget. And the first person that fills out their form, fully completed with all the credit card details, I have a beautiful bottle of hope that I am going to give to the first person that fills that out. And I will have spoken about hope and the journey of hope. And I say to everyone at this point now, for those of you that are open to my invitation that I gave you earlier, please add a bottle of hope in other, and as you order monthly or every time you order, add that bottle of hope so that we contribute to helping free these children from the sex trafficking industry. Okay, you guys, fill out those forms. I've got a bottle of hope waiting for you that you can gift on to someone. I loved sharing tonight with you. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you to Melissa, our amazing host, for this amazing food. Nibble away, and we're all here. Paul's here to help as well, to help you fill out those forms and make sure that you go home with the essential oils that are singing to you. Thank you so much, everyone.
So a question there from Belinda is they might feel like they're being told. So what's critical there is we say you get to, not you have to go home with a wholesale account. So if you make sure you phrase it like that, so you get to go home with your wholesale account, which is the most intelligent way to buy your oils. That's the language to use. So when you're quite right, if you say you have to have a wholesale account by the end of tonight, that's probably not great.
Can I just address something there? I really want to be bold to address this with you guys, okay? Do you all believe here, just really drop into your hearts for a minute, do you genuinely believe that these are the best essential oils on the planet? Can I just see some head nodding? Yeah, great. Do you believe that every single person on the planet needs to have these essential oils and products in their home? Right? It's a no-brainer, you guys. When you show up to serve, you are never selling a single thing. I did not even realize this is what I was doing. I was doing this from the beginning. My amazing husband came out to watch me do some classes and to listen to classes at home that I was running, to help me and to help us to share with our budding tree, our tree of love at the time, to know how to do this. I didn't know how to make myself duplicable, right? I honestly did not know. And I asked for his help in this, and it was him that pointed this out. Now, sweethearts, I never went out there to sell. I'm going to be totally honest. I went out there to educate the world. If you ask Paul, he'll remember I said, oh my gosh, I'm so excited to teach free aromatherapy classes again. I can't wait to get out there and just share these workshops with the world. That's what I was excited about, you guys, okay? So I show up to serve, and I'm literally just, speaking to Creator every day and just like, God, let me be a vessel and an instrument of your love and your peace and your service. Sweet Goddess, wrap me up in those beautiful arms, right? Let me be your mouthpiece. Let me remind people to be so grateful for you and your sacrifices, and to be so grateful for these gifts that you give us. That's what I'm just silently saying all the time, you guys. While he's mingling with the crowd, I'm centering. I'm like tapping into the energy of these essential oils. I can tell you right now, they are the highest vibration essential oils I've ever come across. I've taught aromatherapy for over 20 years, and I've never come across anything cleaner or more pristine than the doTERRA essential oils. The energy of the 7 owners behind this is phenomenal. I don't think you realize how blessed we are to have the 7 owners we do collaborating with us. Add to the mix co-impact sourcing, that they're sourced for the most part from their indigenous land, right? And I will say that to people, and I say, with the exception of things like Douglas fir, where we're really trying to help clean up a pest, a tree that's been introduced and taking over the countryside, where no flora or fauna can survive in its wake, right? Let them get the picture. And we'll share a bit of co-impact sourcing, often with vetiver. That's something really dear to our hearts, the water situation. And for Healing Hands, we'll share a bit on Days for Girls and Hope. OUR is a big one for both of us. And I have a mission, which I'd love all of you to bring into your presentation, if I can be so bold as to add this right now. Bring the story of hope in, you guys. This is the one way we can make a difference to free these kids from the sex trafficking industry. How about if you thought about and really held an intention for every single person you enroll to order a bottle of hope, and that goes toward freeing these kids, to really put it in your presentation for every time they want to buy a gift, a gratitude gift to the kids' teachers, family gift, putting in that bottle of hope and writing a little bit, like just on a card, a little bit on the story of hope. It is so beautiful, you guys. We can now make a difference. It's not just one of us, it's all of us, and that is so special. And I say to all of them, and for those of you ordering monthly, get this on your monthly order. Every time, whenever you order, if it's once a month or once every 6 months, I'm imploring you to order Hope Essential Oil Blend, right? It is so powerful, you guys. We are changing the face, not only of the healthcare system, of the heart system. It is our duty, our purpose, our why, to connect as many people with these essential oils. Am I being bold by saying when you have your own wholesale account? You could say that. Or am I just honoring Mother Earth so deeply that I assume that everyone else wants to be as grateful as I am and connect with her every day with these magnificent, beautiful gifts in a bottle?
So how do I go back to this left brain question after that beautiful message? There's a question there above we just didn't quite get to on the wholesale account. Wellness advocate form versus the wholesale customer form. Look, I actually think that doTERRA has done us a favour putting both forms in there now, because it gives us a really relevant opportunity to raise the business aspect of what we do. So I just say, for those of you who'd like to actually just start with a wholesale account and enjoy the customer experience, you use the form that actually says wholesale customer at the top of it. The other form there is for a wellness advocate. And what that means is that for those of you who could see yourselves actually sharing, these oils, who love what you saw tonight and maybe would like to get involved with that, we're looking for some part-time teachers to help us out. So full training is provided. You don't have to know anything or have a previous history in essential oils or anything like that. So if you'd like to talk to me about that when we come around, and we can fill out the appropriate form for you to get your kit and get started tonight. And for those of you who'd just like to have that little bit extra abundance, maybe invite a few more $100 a month into your life to make things a little easier for you, this is definitely something that's going to make it a difference for you. So maybe that's the form you fill out. But let's get to that when we come around and help you out with your kit. And that's a quick way there to do that.
And it's a beautiful connection point as well, because we love saying things like, who'd love to get their oils for free? Who'd be open to learning how to receive their oils for free every month, right? We're so looking for teachers, people who are enthusiastic about health, natural wellness and health, and who want to join with us and have some fun with this, right? So there are different ways you can do what we're doing, and we can tailor it to meet your needs. So if that's something really yummy for you, let us know. We'd love to chat to you. So you've heard it from how Paul says it, and you've heard it from how I say it. I do use words like yummy and wrap yourself up in, and that kind of stuff. What we're trying to demonstrate is just for you, do it your way and connect from your hearts, because you've all got this. So LRP, if we can go into, hopefully I've shown you a nice segue with what I do for LRP. And I'd just like to pose this to Paul, one of the questions that was asked. So how do you get them excited while keeping it really clear and simple when you talk about LRP and helping them to engage in that on the night? Yeah,
so I think the thing about the loyalty rewards, and what kind of the scary thing is for people out there, is that they think about the direct debit scenario, the auto ship, the I have to, rather than I want to. Okay, so we need to make it something that they see a benefit to them, rather than of you have to order this thing. And of course, as wellness advocates, often we want everyone to be ordering 100 points or more, right? Of course we do. But that isn't necessarily what serves them. So we need to make sure that we language this in a way that makes it non-confrontational and easy to engage with for them. Okay, so as we're going around, we're helping them with their kit, and we're realizing their budgetary constraints. Maybe they can't get all the stuff. They go, I really want that one, but I don't know if it's a little too much, like the Natural Solutions versus the Home Essentials kit. That's when I would often right away say, look, we don't want this to be an increased burden for you, and for you to kind of come away from this with an experience of, wow, maybe I've overspent here, and sort of be remorseful about the choice, even though the oils are awesome. So why don't we start out with what's affordable for you, which you can deal with today, and let's pop a few of those other things on to your first order for next month. So doTERRA has this amazing monthly reward system where and you're going to liken it to something that you guys know of, right? I'm sure you all go and get your nails done, or your hair done, or buy coffees, or have frequent flyers, or frequent flyer miles, whatever it is, for something that you're a member of, where you get rewarded for being a customer. Right, so just liken it to that and say, look, do you have one of these membership cards where you get this for free if you do that? When you purchase, they go, oh yeah, I do. So this is your frequent flyer miles for your essential oils. Okay. Now, whenever you purchase, when you're on the loyalty rewards program, you actually get to accumulate points when you order above 50 PV. You don't have to order above 50 PV every month, though. Any order above 1 PV maintains your membership in the loyalty rewards program and keeps your points there. So even if it's just your lemon oil that you're using up kind of quickly throughout the month because you're putting in your water every day and your husband's doing it and your kids are doing it, those kinds of things, you put that on, that's going to maintain your membership in the loyalty rewards and allow you to progress through the system where you get increased rewards every quarter. So you go from 10% of what you're spending as points up to 15 and then up to 20 and so on. So it's really, deeply rewarding, particularly as you move forward. And one of the other things I love about this is that I'm kind of used to paying for shipping for stuff when I order stuff from somewhere, right? And everyone goes, yeah. And I go, well, doTERRA actually gives me all of the points back. So if I spend $7.95 on shipping, they give me 8 points. Now, for those of you in Australia, this is going to be particularly helpful because in Australia, we have a currency difference. So we get the full 8 points, but the 8 points is actually worth like $11 or $12 for us because, you know, something that costs 8 PV costs us $11 or $12 because our dollar's weaker than the US dollar. So in Australia, you kind of actually make money on the shipping. So when I say, look, you know, not only do they give you the money back that you spent on shipping, they give you back enough points that you can spend more money than you spent on free oils. It's crazy. And everyone goes, oh, wow, that's awesome. Right? So, but even just getting your money back on the shipping is great. So when you put it like that, people get it, right? For me, I try to work in, to get people on LRP as well, I try to work in the LLV at the class. Mm-hmm. Because if I can work in LLV at the class and talk about why I love it and how powerful it is, and I've got a powerful story with that, you know, people go, oh God, gee, I think I have to try that. And I actually talk about this, and this is the key word phrase that you might want to use here is, and this is a members only benefit product.
Super powerful, you guys. Just take that in. A members only benefit product. Right. It implies that specialness. When you're part of our tribe, this is one of those perks that you receive from this.
And people love that members only. You know, people want to be the member of the, you know, the captain's club and the admiral's club and all the things that you can get in every membership of everything. You know, the presidential diamond club. You know, so people want to get into these clubs, right? So, but making it sound like this is an exclusive thing. And I talk to them. I don't know what the pricing actually is specifically in the US, but for us here, I say if you want to break these down, if you look at the retail value of purchasing these 3 products. It's like $253 Australian. And as a members only benefit product, they actually price it out in a way that's really affordable for us. It's $115.
Yeah.
You know, and for you guys, it's $79.50, I think, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But if you break it down and look at what the cost is individually, it's 2.5 times the amount of money. So it's such a sort of a powerful way for them to see value in it. And if they try it once, we know they're going to want to stay on it, right? So that's getting them on our LRP.
And he does talk about that it's money back guarantees. Like, I don't know anyone who does that. I just want to quickly deal with booking classes from classes. I'll have Tracy Stokes post a great little video we have of Alison Bartolo doing this. It is amazing, and you can just adapt that to your market. Sorry, did you say LLV? What is that? It's the Lifelong Vitality Pack. So just Google that and have a learn of that. It's the amazing supplement system from doTERRA. One of the other questions I was going to deal with was, do you do make and takes for enrollments? Yes. Existing enrollments, you want to be doing follow-up classes of some sort. So there's lots of make and take classes out there, or you can do it yourself. What I find is people get overwhelmed with the expense of make and take classes. So what I've done, and there's lots there, I just have these here. I'm not just trying to puff up my product, but I have Power and Purpose and Ease and Grace here, okay? And I've created them with Amanda Porter, who wrote the Emotions for Essential Oils book. And they get their own stickers to go on their rollables, affirmation cards, and then a highlight on the emotional content of that blend. I give them dilution for the rollable as well as diffuser. There's 4 pages that they go home with, like a little booklet with mindfulness practices. Now, why am I telling you this? I'm telling you for this reason. They can just choose one blend to create and go home with. And then they go home with that 4-page little booklet. And there are other oils there that they are going to want. There's 2 things that happen with this. One is that they want you to come out and teach that class for them and their friends. And the second thing is what? It's generating LRP orders, Loyalty Rewards Program orders, okay, which is great because they're going to want to make those blends. They felt how fun it was in the class, and you just doing 1 blend per person, it's not cost prohibitive. For those that are already enrolled, I always say to them, bring your oils, bring your FCO. I'm going to have the rollables there. And I always extra FCO, and I have my own oils, and I say, plus I'll bring my own, and you can look at some magic you can weave with your existing essential oils, plus some new oils. We'll look at some yummy oils to marry with that. And I make a time with them. Often during the class, we say in the next 2 weeks, we're going to touch base with you. The protocol is that we sit with you one-on-one and do a beautiful lifestyle overview for you where we can really personalize this for you. You may have been too shy to bring some stuff up for classes, and we don't have time to go through everything in 45 minutes. So we give you time one-on-one with us. And the second thing is we'll do a really fun follow-up class together where you come with your essential oils, and we're going to show you how to use and make the most of those essential oils that you're going home with tonight. And, well, they're not going home with the wholesale account, right? That you go home with tonight, I still say. And we're going to show you some beautiful essential oils to marry with that. So we'll teach you about what you can start to do now that you have your own wholesale account. And we have regular ongoing classes. So what am I doing there? I'm showing them how much support they have, that the protocol is we have a one-on-one with you, a lifestyle overview, aka the wellness consult. Okay, so they're expecting that call from you, and you can create that in the first 2 weeks because you only have 14 days to move them placement wise if you've enrolled them as a wellness advocate.
So the question there is, do we do make and takes for existing or new potential customers? It's both. I mean,
Both,
it's much more sort of commonly used, I guess, as a follow-up class to sort of engage people with LRP.
Yeah.
But we have people in our team actually using those kind of these packs as all classes that are for an enrollment class. So they're inviting people to come along and make something and enroll and leave that way.
So what they do is they marry it up with this book, the Emotions and Essential Oils book, and the class. And you can just get these on Aroma Tools or Oils Life, you know, depending on the country you're in. And it's really beautiful because say they pick a class that has the, you know, the grapefruit in it, then you can just read the extract of the oil of honoring the body. Who would really love to drop into that space more, and so on and so forth. So we have quite a few people enrolling with this. It's a really comprehensive class, and someone you've just enrolled, a brand new person, can actually teach either of these classes because I have the full directions for it and how to blend and the science behind that. And it's super, super simple.
So for the class question there, and I also want to deal with one of the earlier questions quickly before we finish up today. You know, does it only run for 45 minutes? From the opening of the class to sort of natural conclusion, where we're saying fill out the form, we aim to get that done in 45 to 50 minutes. Then you spend another hour enrolling everybody, you know, walking around the room, talking to everyone, getting them all kind of enrolled and get them on LRP. All those kind of things is what you spend the rest of the time doing. And one of the things that you're doing in that time is facing this objection that was asked earlier. What do you do when someone says, I want to think about it? Does anyone face that? Did it ever come up? I think about it is one that most people are really afraid to deal with. They don't know what to say and they leave it unanswered. They kind of do nothing with it and they let it sort of just drift off into nothingness. But the problem is that when you let them go with their think about it, you don't know what I'll think about it means. You don't know where to go from there. You don't know whether to follow that up. You don't know what to follow up with. So you cannot let someone leave with a think about it unless you actually get some detail on what that think about it is. So I would ask if someone says, oh, you know, look, I think I'll think about it. Say, okay, great. Can I just get some feedback from you? Did you like the class and do you see a use for the essential oils? Can you see how powerful they are? If they say yes to that, I'm telling you now, their think about it is around two things. It's what I want to get maybe, you know, and getting an okay from a partner perhaps, and budget. That's it. There's not there's a whole range of things to think about. It's very, very narrow. So I would actually ask the question there. So is the thing that you're thinking about which oils to get right now, or is it more around sort of budget and what fits in for you as far as finance is concerned? And I ask the question.
Just be bold, just be outright and ask, because otherwise you're imagining what they do. People don't have to think about buying the next pair of shoes or the dress or whatever. If they want it, it's pretty impulsive, they buy it. And we all know people who drop $300 or $400 on a pair of shoes. I don't understand it personally, but it gets done, right? So
yeah, so it's really critical that you get that answer, because at least that gives you some pointers about how you can follow that person up, right? Because and you can even unpack the discussion right now. I'll tell you, I have seen people walk away from classes that I've been a kind of a watcher at, you know, a guest to check out, who I know could have been enrolled on the day, or I've gone in and helped them enroll, where they'd told the person, I want to think about it. And the think about it came down to, I don't get paid until next Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And because that wasn't dealt with as a general thing in the class, they thought, well, I can't enroll today. So I went and sat down with them and said, so how did you go? Did Jessie help you out? Oh, yes, she was great. You know, I've just got to go away and think about it. And then I asked my questions. So is it the oils that you want to think about in terms of which ones to get or which kit to purchase? Or is it more a sort of budgetary thing around what's affordable for you right now? And she goes, yes, second one. And I go, so then I unpack a little further. So when you say affordable right now, do you mean like how much you can spend this week, or like when you get paid next, when money comes in? And they go, yes, like when my pay comes. And I go, great. So if you like, and you know which one you want, we can fill this out. We'll hold on to this to you. We won't process it until next Friday after you get paid. And if you like, we'll even message you and just say, hey, are you good to go? Should we put this through today for you? And, you know, that's how you deal with the think about it. You know, you actually unpack what the think about it is, right? Now, guys, we've got to get straight off onto another call. I hope this has been helpful for you with regard to getting some more understanding of the class and how to do it well, and how to get enrollments and how to get people on LRP. Have you found it helpful?
Yes, great. So Tracy will post a few links for you guys over the coming hours that we've talked about in this class, and Alison Bottolo as well, booking classes from classes. I'm sorry we couldn't cover that. An hour's just not quite enough, but we love you guys. We've got to go. We've got a leadership call next. We love you. Have the best week. Go out and have some fun touching lives. And I want to hear all about from you guys on that page how many people you're inspiring with Hope Oil, and that you are creating the need for and touching more lives with in enrollments.
And guys, next week the call is going to be on the first and second enrollment, which basically means LRP. How do we enroll them into LRP? So next week we're going to be able to unpack that in real detail.
We're super excited. We're going to be doing that class with you guys next week. So love you guys.